When Allah chooses you, life starts to change. Yusuf Alayhissalom. Don't scroll. If everything in your life has been shifting lately, if people are leaving, if plans keep collapsing, if your heart feels strangely unsettled, this might be the reason. When Allah chooses a servant for a higher path, the first thing He changes is not the world around them, but the world inside them. And that's why your life feels different right now. Not worse. Not broken. Just transforming. Yusuf Alayhissalom didn't know he was chosen when he stood at the edge of the well. He didn't know he was chosen when he was betrayed by his own brothers. He didn't know he was chosen when he sat alone in prison. But Allah knew. And so, step by step, his life was rearranged, not to punish him, but to prepare him. That's what happens when Allah chooses someone. He disconnects them from what is small to connect them to what is divine. Ibn Arabi said, Allah removes comfort from the chosen ones, not to harm them, but to awaken them. And that might be exactly what you're feeling. The old things no longer feel right. The old circles don't fit you anymore. Your heart is searching for something you can't name. Your instincts are pulling you away from noise, from sin, from distraction. That's not confusion, that's calling. When Allah chooses you, loneliness increases, not because you're abandoned, but because He wants to be the one you return to. When Allah chooses you, your plans fail, not because you're unworthy, but because He's redirecting you to something greater. When Allah chooses you, your heart breaks, not to destroy you, but to open a space where His light can enter. Yusuf Alayhissalom didn't rise after life became easy. He rose because he stayed faithful while it was falling apart. That's the mark of the chosen. Their tests are heavier, their patience is deeper, and their destiny is higher. So if you're wondering why everything is changing, maybe it's because you are changing. Maybe Allah is preparing you the same way He prepared Yusuf, by taking you through chapters you don't understand yet, so He can write an ending you're not ready to see. Because when Allah chooses you, your life may break. But only so He can rebuild it with His own hands. And when that rebuilding begins, it never looks the way you expect. Allah doesn't start by adding blessings, He starts by removing illusions. The friendships that fade, the habits you suddenly can't tolerate, the places that no longer feel like home, that's not loss. That's purification. Allah is clearing your path because what He's preparing for you requires a cleaner heart, a sharper mind, and a stronger soul. Yusuf Alayhissalom didn't rise despite being separated from everything familiar, he rose because of it. The well separated him from jealousy. The slave market separated him from ego. The prison separated him from distraction. Every chapter that looked like abandonment was actually a step toward alignment. And that is exactly what happens when Allah chooses you. He removes you from what you were comfortable with, to place you where you were created to be. Ibn Arabi said, when Allah intends to give you more, He first strips you of what you think is enough. That's why your heart feels unsettled. That's why your life is shifting. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. You're not losing, you're being lifted. The walls closing in around you aren't trapping you, they're guiding you through the only doorway that leads to your destiny. And here's the part most people never notice. When Allah chooses you, He changes your inner world before He changes your outer world. You start craving silence instead of noise. You start seeking sincerity instead of approval. You start valuing peace over pleasure. You start feeling a pull toward Him so strong it scares you, because deep down, your soul recognizes the one calling. That's how Yusuf survived betrayal without hatred, prison without despair, power without pride. Because Allah had already transformed his heart long before he transformed his circumstances. And now it's your turn. If life is shifting beneath your feet, don't fear it. Don't resist it. Don't run from it. This is not the end, this is the invitation. You are being prepared the same way every chosen soul is prepared, quietly, painfully, beautifully. Because when Allah chooses you, your old life falls apart, so your real life can begin. And as that new life begins to form inside you, you start to notice the signs more clearly. Not loud, not dramatic, subtle, precise, unmistakable. A calm you can't explain. A sadness that no longer destroys you. A strength that feels borrowed from somewhere sacred. These are not emotions, these are indicators. Indicators that Allah is reshaping you from the inside out. Yusuf, Alayhissalom, felt these same shifts long before the world saw his rise. He felt a quiet confidence in the well. He felt unshaken dignity in the slave market. He felt unbroken hope in the prison cell. None of that made sense logically, but that's how divine preparation works. Allah strengthens the heart before He changes the situation. By the time the blessing arrives, the heart is already trained to hold it. Ibn Arabi said, "The chosen are not transformed by what they receive, but by what they survive." And you've survived more than you give yourself credit for. The heartbreak that could have hardened you, softened you instead. The loneliness that should have broken you, brought you closer to Allah. The disappointment that should have killed your hope, purified it. These are the fingerprints of being chosen. When Allah chooses you, He teaches you how to let go. Not out of weakness, but out of trust. He teaches you how to stand alone. Not because you're unwanted, but because He wants you closer. He teaches you how to stay patient. Not because life is unfair, but because timing is divine. And right now, whether you see it or not, you are being elevated. Your heart is being trained. Your soul is being awakened. The path beneath you is being redirected. You feel discomfort because you're outgrowing places you were never meant to stay. You feel restless because your destiny is louder than your fears. Yusuf did not understand the plan when it began, but he trusted the one who wrote it. And that's all you need to do now. Trust the shift. Trust the change. Trust the strange pull in your chest. Because when Allah chooses you, He does not ask for perfection. He asks for willingness. Willingness to follow. To surrender. To walk into the unknown. With Him as your guide. And if you do that, your life will not just change. It will transform into something you never imagined. Exactly the way Yusuf's story did. And when that transformation reaches its peak, something remarkable happens. Your heart stops fearing the unknown. You begin to feel a strange, unshakable certainty that whatever is happening for you, not against you. That's the final stage of being chosen, when trust becomes instinct, when faith becomes your first reaction instead of your last resort. Yusuf, Alayhissalom, reached that point long before the palace, long before the throne. He reached it in the darkness of the well, when he whispered to himself, "My Lord is with me." That's when he became chosen, not when he gained power, but when he gained clarity. Because Allah chooses hearts before He chooses positions. Ibn Arabi said, "The chosen one is not the one who is raised in status, but the one whose heart is raised in certainty." And that's the certainty you're beginning to feel now. The kind that doesn't depend on evidence. The kind that feels like calm in the middle of a storm. The kind that whispers, "You're being guided even when you can't see the path." And look closely at your life, you'll notice the signs. You no longer tolerate what drains your soul. You no longer cling to what Allah is removing. You no longer fear losing people who were never meant to stay. That's not a breakdown, that's alignment. This is how Allah prepares the chosen. He removes people who cannot walk with you into your next chapter. He collapses plans that would have harmed your destiny. He closes doors that lead to smaller versions of you. Every change is intentional. Every shift is strategic. Every delay is protection. And the most beautiful part? When Allah chooses you, He places a light in your chest that no darkness can extinguish. A resilience no test can break. A peace no loss can steal. A dignity no one can take. That's why Yusuf rose without arrogance and forgave without hesitation, because chosen souls carry mercy, not bitterness. They carry purpose, not pride. They carry faith, not fear. So if life feels unfamiliar, unstable, or uncertain right now, don't worry, this is exactly how divine elevation begins. You are being shaped quietly, purified gently, pushed firmly, toward the life Allah wrote for you long before you understood the journey. Because when Allah chooses you, He doesn't change your path first. He changes you. And once you become the person your destiny requires, the destiny itself will come looking for you. And this is where the truth settles deeply into your heart. When Allah chooses you, the journey is never meant to be comfortable, it's meant to be transformational. You are not being pushed into change, you are being prepared for it. The storm around you isn't there to break you, it's there to reveal the strength Allah placed inside you long before the world touched you. Yusuf, Alayhissalom, didn't rise because life was easy. He rose because every hardship refined him. Every betrayal purified him. Every moment of isolation carved him into the man Allah destined him to be. That's the hidden beauty of being chosen. The very experiences meant to crush you become the reasons you rise. Ibn Arabi said, Allah hides His greatest gifts inside His hardest tests. And now you see it. The pain taught you patience. The loss taught you detachment. The silence taught you trust. The change taught you surrender. What you thought was breaking you was actually building you into someone stronger, softer, wiser, and closer to Him. So here you stand, not the person you once were, not yet the person you will become, but the perfect person for this stage of the journey. The shifts in your life are not accidents, they are invitations. The doors closing are not endings, they are redirections. The heaviness in your chest is not weakness, it is awakening. And as all the pieces start to fall into place, you will look back, just like Yusuf, and whisper with a heart full of certainty and gratitude. My Lord was gentle with me. Because that is the real sign you were chosen. Not that your life became perfect, but that your soul learned to trust the one who is.